Ladies and gentlemen, this is a true story I want to share with everyone. An Asian American man, nearly 50 years old at the time, returned to Asia feeling lonely and simply wanted a casual fling with a young woman to ease his sadness. But he had no idea that just a few short nights would cost him over 5 years of his life, a period filled with pain, torment, and bitterness. What happened? How did a man with life experience fall into such a love trap? And what was his ultimate fate? Stay tuned to find out. Michael was an Asian American living in Boston, Massachusetts, nearing 50 years old. After a turbulent divorce, he was raising 2 teenage children and living a stable but lonely life. After work, he'd return to an empty house, where the laughter of the past was replaced by silence, sighs, and a cold beer. One day, Michael decided to take a month-long trip back to Asia, to get a change of pace. He had no intentions of finding anything serious, just a little fun to ease the loneliness. He stayed at a hotel in District 1, the bustling center of Saigon. One night, wandering into a bar on Bouivine Street, Michael met Lisa, a young woman around 29, working as a hostess. With a sweet face, charming way of speaking, and eyes filled with both sadness and allure, Lisa quickly caught his attention. At first, both treated it as a casual relationship, a short-lived fling while Michael was in Asia. But gradually, something shifted. Michael started getting emotionally attached, while Lisa began subtly deepening the relationship with gentle words, thoughtful gestures, and morning routines together. They began traveling all over the country. Weekend seafood trips and beach strolls in Vung Tau. Romantic coffee dates on the hillsides of Dalat. A beach getaway in Phu Quoc, taking photos like a longtime couple. A visit to Nha Lisa, ending in Da Nang, where Lisa posted a story calling Michael, "my darling husband," on social media. Michael laughed it off, thinking it was just playful. In his heart, he believed, she knows this is just for fun. I never promised anything. They never talked about the future or commitment. He had even told her plainly, I don't want kids. I just want someone to be with for now, that's all. Lisa smiled and nodded. I understand. Everyone leaves eventually. I don't expect anything long-term. When Michael returned to the US, resuming his job, his kids, and his old routine, he got a message from Lisa. I'm nearly 2 months late. I think I'm pregnant. That short sentence hit him like lightning. He didn't know if it was real or a trick. But from that moment, everything changed, down a path he never expected. Michael was stunned. Not angry, just shocked. This went against everything they had agreed on. He called Lisa, and she said, I know, you probably think I planned this. But I really didn't want this to happen. I never thought I'd be a mom this soon. But now, this child is my blood. I can't give it up. And I don't want to go to America. I like living here. My parents and friends are here. I just hope, maybe you could stay here with us, live a simple life. Who needs America, right? Michael was speechless. Her gentle tone, combined with the image of a young woman carrying his child, kept him awake many nights. But he knew, he couldn't abandon his life in the US. He had 2 children, a career, and decades of roots in America. Lisa knew this. She never begged. She played it emotionally smart, subtly mentioning her struggle. The day Lisa arrived in Boston with her baby in her arms, Michael was there at the airport to welcome her. He was emotional and tried his best to make both mother and child feel at home. But just a few days later, everything began to feel off. Lisa couldn't get along with Michael's 2 teenage children. They never accepted her as a stepmother who suddenly appeared in their lives. She called them rude and cold, while they referred to her as an outsider. The tension in the house grew heavier by the day. Michael tried to mediate, but he felt torn between 2 worlds. Lisa grew restless. After a few months, she asked to work at a local Asian restaurant, saying it would help her feel less trapped and allow her to earn her own money. Michael didn't object. He wanted her to have space and thought that working might help her adjust better. But as time passed, Michael noticed Lisa started coming home late, dressing more carefully than usual, and keeping her phone password protected. She talked less, paid less attention to their child, and became irritated whenever Michael asked questions. One evening, when Michael reached for her phone to make a call, she snatched it away. "You have no right to touch my personal stuff." Suspicion grew in Michael's mind. Eventually, he discovered the truth. Lisa was seeing another man, David, a 34-year-old manager at the restaurant. They were often seen going to work and returning together. Once, someone caught them having coffee, laughing intimately. When Michael confronted her, Lisa didn't deny it. She didn't even apologize. She said coldly, "This is America. I have the right to have friends. And you? Your kids never accepted me. You always side with them. I think you only sponsored me and the baby because of them, not me. Back in Asia, we were just a fling. You never truly loved me." Those words tore Michael apart. All the waiting, all the money sent back, all the sleepless nights worrying about Lisa and the baby, now dismissed with a cold, indifferent comment. From the day he found out Lisa had someone else, Michael's life fell into a thick shadow. He was no longer the strong man who once carried everything. He became a husband in name only, repeatedly disrespected by the woman he brought into his home. Lisa and David, just hearing their names made Michael's chest tighten. She didn't even try to hide it anymore. At first, she still came home before midnight. Later, she began staying out all night, coming back the next morning as if it were normal. One morning at 6 a.m., Michael opened the door for her, only to be met with a cold glare and a blunt remark. "I'm tired. Don't ask me anything." Michael tried to hold on, not out of love, but for their daughter, and with the faint hope that Lisa might change. But Lisa only pushed further. She demanded her own room, locked the door, and even forbade Michael from entering. She lived in his house, enjoyed all the comforts, but acted like an arrogant tenant, while Michael became a leaser in his own home. His two older children grew increasingly distant from Lisa. At one point, they openly called her the homewrecker. Michael knew the family couldn't be pieced back together. Still, every time he thought of little Anna, their daughter, he couldn't bring himself to end it. Time passed. 5 long, silent years filled with tears and quiet endurance. Then one day, when Anna started first grade, Lisa calmly said, "Let's get a divorce. I'm tired. Living like this is hell." Michael was silent for a long time, then nodded. Not because he wanted to give up, but because he no longer had the strength to hold on to something that no longer existed. They went to court and finalized everything quickly. Lisa requested full custody of Anna, but Michael filed for joint custody, at the very least, to have shared time with his daughter. In the end, the court ruled for shared custody. Anna would live with her mother most of the time, but spend weekends and holidays with Michael. As he stepped out of the courthouse that day, it felt like the sky was collapsing, yet also slightly relieving. 5 years, not short, not long, was enough for a man to learn a painful truth. Some people don't come into your life to love you. They come to teach you a lesson. Never blindly trust sweetness that's crafted with a motive. After divorcing Lisa, Michael returned to his single life, but this time, truly alone. His 2 children from his previous marriage were now grown. The eldest had gone off to college in another state, and the younger had just moved out to start an independent life. The house was now silent, filled only with Michael and the echoes of solitude. On weekends, Anna still came to visit, but even she was beginning to form her own world. School friends, after-school activities, and her time with her father became shorter. Quiet dinners with an empty seat across the table, the warm yellow light casting shadows of old memories. Michael knew he was growing old in loneliness. Many nights, lying on the sofa, he thought back on everything: his failed marriage in the US, the emotional trap he fell into with Lisa, and the long years of endurance for the sake of his daughter. He sighed. I've lived my whole life for others. Have I ever truly lived for myself? One day, while browsing the internet, he stumbled upon a Four Corners friendship website, a dating site. On a whim, he created a profile. He didn't expect much. Maybe just someone to talk to, he thought. At first, he received many messages from young women, some beautiful, some sweet-talking, but Michael quietly scrolled past. He had lived long enough to know that beauty no longer held the same weight in a heart that had weathered nearly a lifetime. Then one day, he met Ha, a 45-year-old woman from Da Nang, never married, a high school literature teacher. Ha wasn't strikingly beautiful, but her eyes were warm and her words gentle and thoughtful. They talked like old friends reunited. No drama, no flash, just quiet evenings online, sharing what they cooked for dinner, stories of mischievous students, or how cold Boston had become. The more they talked, the more peace Michael felt. No pressure, no games. Ha never mentioned wanting to go to America, never asked about money, never demanded anything. One day, Michael asked, "Aren't you afraid of falling in love with someone so much older?" Ha smiled gently. "I'm afraid of loving the wrong person. Age isn't a reason to reject someone sincere." That line struck Michael deeply. No woman had ever said that to him. For the first time, he felt seen, not for his status or wealth, but as a whole person. A year later, Michael returned to Asia and flew straight to Da Nang to meet Ha. Their first meeting had no flowers, no wine, just a walk on the beach and hours of heartfelt conversation, like they'd known each other forever. After that, they officially became a couple. Today, Michael and Ha live happily together in the US, after he sponsored her immigration, not out of duty, not out of guilt, but out of genuine love. Ha takes care of the home, cooks, looks after Michael, and works part-time at a local doctor's office. Anna adores Ha like a mother, and Michael silently thanks the heavens every day for giving him a second chance, right when he thought he had nothing left. That day was Anna's birthday, held as a small party at a nearby park in Boston, Massachusetts. Ha had planned everything, from the cake and balloons to little gifts for Anna's friends. Michael helped set up the lawn area, quietly watching his daughter play and laugh with her friends. It was a beautiful day, light sun, gentle breeze, but something in Michael's heart told him, Lisa will come. And she did. Around 2 p.m., Lisa arrived. Still slim, her hair softly curled, but her face had changed. Something seemed off, unbalanced. Her skin was unnaturally tight. Though her makeup was carefully done, it couldn't hide the traces of a failed cosmetic surgery. Anna ran over to hug her mom. From afar, Michael gave a polite nod but didn't approach. The only person who did was Ha. Ha handed Lisa a cup of juice, and the two of them sat beneath a tree, away from the party, watching the children laugh and run. After some polite small talk, Lisa's mood softened. A few moments later, she quietly said, "Thank you for taking such good care of Anna. She seems so well-behaved and happy." Ha smiled gently and replied, "Anna is a very sweet child. I love her like my own." Lisa nodded. Her eyes wandered into the distance. Then, in a soft, almost whispering voice, as if she didn't want anyone else to hear, she began to speak. "Honestly, these past few years haven't been good for me," Lisa began. After the divorce with Michael, things with Tuan didn't work out either. He was irresponsible, messy, didn't care about the child at all. At first, I thought he truly cared about me, just like I used to think Michael didn't. Back then, I blamed him for being distant, now I see how wrong I was. Ha listened without interrupting. Lisa continued, her voice slow and tired. "We fought constantly. Then Tuan left me, for someone younger. I had to raise my daughter alone, working and juggling everything on my own. Last year, I went back to Asia for plastic surgery, thought I was still young, wanted to start over. But it went wrong. My face is crooked now. I've tried to fix it, but nothing works." There was a moment of silence. Ha gently squeezed Lisa's hand, saying nothing, just nodding with quiet empathy. Lisa's eyes welled up, though she tried not to cry. She looked toward Michael, who was playing ball with Anna, and softly said, "I still follow Michael on Facebook, and yours too. I know you're a good person. I've seen the pictures you two post, picnics, cooking, camping. I felt a bit bitter at first. But now, I feel thankful. I was jealous, but now I just feel regret. I don't expect anything. I just hope you don't hate me." Ha held Lisa's hand tighter, her voice as soft as the wind. "We all go through seasons of mistakes. What matters is that we learn from them and move forward. You still have Anna, and a whole journey ahead to be a good mother. You don't have to be perfect, just be sincere with your child. That's enough." For the first time in years, Lisa cried. Not for the man she lost, but because she had finally met a woman kind enough to listen without judgment. She understood now, some losses can never be recovered, but they can lead to true growth. A few months after that warm birthday party, Michael contacted me after seeing one of my videos on YouTube. We scheduled a video call. On the other side of the screen was a gentle-faced man, thoughtful eyes, and a soft smile. He began telling me everything, from the painful days after his divorce, the heartbreaking journey with Lisa, to the peaceful happy ending with his current wife, whom he met on the very website I created. I asked him, "What do you think about everything you've gone through in your life?" Michael paused for a moment, then looked straight into the camera and said, "I regret it. Back then, when I returned to Asia, I was just a sad, lonely man looking for a quick fling. I met Lisa, and I thought it would be simple, no strings attached. But life doesn't let anyone walk away that easily. For just a few weeks of fun, I paid with over 5 years of my life. Those 5 years were filled with endurance, pain, and emotional scars." He paused, exhaled, then smiled, a genuine, peaceful smile. "But maybe it was fate. If I hadn't gone through that storm, I wouldn't have ended up on your website. I wouldn't have met Ha. I wouldn't have this peaceful happiness I have now. So I want to thank you for creating a space where people like me, even after being broken, can still believe in love." Dear friends, life never gives us anything for free. Some pay with their youth for loving the wrong person. Some lose years of their lives learning how to grow and understand the true value of love. But in the end, everything happens for a reason. The people who come into our lives, whether for a brief moment or a long season, whether they bring joy or pain, all teach us a valuable lesson. A lesson we'll carry for the rest of our lives. If you find meaning in stories like this, please consider subscribing and sharing this video. Let's grow the seed of wisdom together.